Hungarian Grand Prix is the 11th round of the Formula One World Championship.
And so the drivers have had zero practice in these conditions. We are in for a thrilling start to this Grand Prix.
Okay, box, we gamble.
Box, Nikita, box.
Oh, and there's a collision in the pit lane.
That will result in a penalty.
Budapest is always a special one. It's the last one before the break first, and it's also a particular track with a special layout, and we know that it's difficult to overtake. I'm Fred Vasser, the team principal and CEO of Alfa Romeo Racing Orlen.
It would be fantastic to go into a summer break with a result which is satisfying, you know, because it's just much easier to relax when you know that you're in a good place. I'm Günther Steiner, the team principal of Haas F1 team.
My name is Michael Morf. I'm electronics technician and I do the front check in the pit stop.
Hi, my name is George Paul. I work for Eurocali Haas F1 and I'm an engine systems mechanic.
We've got a 100% chance of rain. I think it is already raining.
What we've not said yet is that the laps to the grid were dry, and so the drivers have had zero practice in these conditions.
This is going to be so tight to call. On the formation lap, if you want to go for slicks, you can come in, but you just can't tell your engineer. You just have to appear.
Well, the drivers can communicate with the pits, but they can't communicate back.
Okay, Mick, let's couple up in the race and have a good race, okay?
Let's do it.
This is completely into the unknown. There's no safety car laps for them. They're going to be heading into turn one, not knowing where to brake. They know where they're braking in the dry, but they've now got a full tank of fuel and wet.
We can gamble with this lead. Okay, box, we gamble.
And who's this coming in? Looks like Antonio Giovinazzi is coming in for a pit stop already. He's saying to the team, box, we gamble. He's going to put on different tyres to everybody else. That is a huge gamble, especially if the rain is going to get heavier. Right, are you ready for some action then? All the talking stops right now, because it's lights out and away we go. And Hamilton does get away very well indeed. Bottas doesn't. Verstappen's already nearly alongside him. And there goes Lando Norris down the inside. It is Hamilton ahead of Verstappen. Bottas has dropped 3 or 4 places. And there's Lando Norris touched. And into each other goes Valtteri Bottas and Sergio Perez. And that's the Alfa Romeo and Alfa Tauri getting caught up as the McLaren spun round with the Ferrari as well. And Max Verstappen, I think, has gone tumbling down the order. Yeah, Max Verstappen has got caught out.
This makes me think we're going to be a red flag situation if there's that much debris, surely.
Safety car, safety car, safety car. Okay, Maz, we think we have a front left puncture. We have a puncture on the front left. Box, Nikita, box. Box, Nikita, box.
Still too wet.
And we box, Antonio. Box, box.
Red flag, red flag.
It's a red flag. We are stopping this race while the marshals can clear the debris. Not surprising, really.
Why did they red flag it?
I guess because there's too many debris. I don't know.
They are now allowed to repair any damage on the cars. You're allowed to change your tyres. So the teams will wait to see what the weather does as the track is cleared up to decide which tyres to go onto. But there is still a limit on the number of intermediate and wet tyres available to the team, so you might not see everybody change tyres at this point.
Well, here we go again then. 3 laps on the board. The safety car will lead them away. And there is a little drying line there on the start-finish straight as it dips down into turn 1.
It is incredible how quickly that track is drying out there. So let's see how quickly we see the first slick tire runners.
it's very dry here, so I think they're boxing this up. Guys, I want to box for slicks.
Copy that.
So will be a double pit stop, double pit stop.
Okay, Matt, it'll be a double stop, so we have to queue.
The race leader is the only driver who's not come into the pit lane to change tyres. There's a collision in the pit lane between Mazepin and Raikkonen, and that is why Nikita Mazepin is out of this race.
That will result in a penalty for that Alfa Romeo, I suspect.
No. I don't know what happened. You let me go and I was there too.
Now, into the race comes the Williams of George Russell, who is up in a second place. Then Ocon, then Vettel, then Latifi, then Tsunoda and then Sainz, then Raikkonen and Alonso. Then comes Ricciardo, and then comes Mick Schumacher and Max Verstappen.
You're P10 with Verstappen and Hamilton in the back. There's only 14 cars still in the race.
Verstappen's trying to get past Mick Schumacher. That isn't happening with ease. This is how difficult it is at Hungary to try and get past. You've got a Haas holding up a Red Bull. And this is probably the most cheering that's been going on the Haas pit wall for quite some time as well. Schumacher defending against Verstappen, Gasly defending against Hamilton, Verstappen trying to go around the outside of Mick Schumacher. They come close, Verstappen goes off the road, Schumacher stays ahead of the Red Bull, Hamilton can't get past Gasly. Now Verstappen's going to go and try round the outside at turn 2. He's got the pace advantage, Schumacher's got the inside line, they bang wheels as Verstappen goes through turn 3. He gets his elbows out and he muscles his way past the Haas.
For info, we have a penalty, 10 seconds for unsafe release.
So we have again.
And that 10-second wait will feel like an eternity before they can get the tyres put on, which they can do right now. And to be honest, the pit stop's feeling like an eternity as well, so I think there was a problem with the front right.
We're just looking at this group here now. Look at the battle there in the front, because this is for Mick Schumacher. This is the race of his life. He's in 9th position.
For George Russell, it's one of the races of his life as well. As round the outside at turn 2 goes George Russell. And by the time we get to turn 3, the Williams is ahead. 2 former F2 champions giving it some brilliant racing action in F1. Esteban Ocon is going to be a Grand Prix winner in Formula 1. Ocon wins the Hungarian Grand Prix. I could not be more pleased for that man winning a Formula 1 Grand Prix.
Okay, to me that's the checkered flag. More charge, please. P11, difficult race.
Checkered flag, Mick, checkered flag.
What was the line? Order fair, order fair.
We knew that it could have been a good opportunity for us to score points, and we missed it. It's a tough weekend for the team. Now we have to push again.
It would have been a good race weekend. A lot of excitement, a lot of things to do, a lot of things to think, but at the moment we just cannot get into the points. But hopefully that will change for next year.